everyone. Welcome to the Overseas Famous podcast. I am your host, Kevin Owens, here with Jaylen Johnson. Jaylen has played many different places, played overseas, but mainly has played a lot in the G League and the NBA, back and forth, has done a lot, has heard a lot, has seen a lot, and we're going to get his story today as well as some other fun stories. And we're going to start off this with a little bit about the Summer League, because the NBA Summer League is becoming wild right now. I was out there in Vegas a few weeks ago, like right in the start of Summer League, and it was like Celebrity Row. I walked in and Mark Cuban is right there. I'm like, holy shit, that's Mark Cuban. And obviously, it's like the Mavericks owner. He's obviously involved in the business, but you're still like, that's Mark Cuban. And every, 50 Cent, there's celebrities, every NBA player was there. So I know you played with the Clippers and the Pacers in NBA Summer League. So take us through that experience of going into that NBA Summer League, and you're kind of a younger player, and then you look over and it's like Celebrity Row, and you're like, holy shit, this is pretty crazy for something like that in the summer.
Yeah, preparing for something like when we was on our home bases, you wouldn't really got the same essence of it until you was there. That first game, I remember first game as soon as we got to Vegas, I was just looking at the first row, and I had seen Ben Simmons. I think I seen Markelle Fultz just had went number one. Then LeBron came in right behind him. But a couple of the guys I knew just from AAU, just growing up playing basketball, college, things like that. But it was just nice seeing them, the people who like making, the high 200 millions, the movie stars, they all in the front row looking at us. And we making shots, they cheering us on. I remember, I think the Migos was there. They was front row with all their chains on. I think that was the year when I was with the Clippers. And yeah, it was nice. It was real nice. The way they treat us in the summer, they just taking us to nice restaurants, making sure we eat good, things like that. I mean, it was dope for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be something that's that I made it kind of moment where you look and you see these celebrities cheering you on, because it is Summer League is a complete party. It's a great place for the NBA players to come. It's a great place for celebrities to come. Everyone was there, and I could not believe how many people were there. I was not expecting that. I went to network and I ended up in this whole celebrity thing. It was really cool. But when you're in Vegas, it's Vegas. So as a player, do you kind of have to be like, have that self-control, or just be like, shit, I got to get my shit together, because, you're there to showcase, you're there to try to make an NBA roster, but you're in Vegas and shit's going down.
Everything's going down in Vegas. And the time they got us out there is it's a tricky time, because you got to stay focused, but everything is going on at that time. Literally everybody comes out at that time. You might see Drake out there. You might see one of the highest celebrities. You might have a game the next day, but the night you got a game the next day, that night is crazy. You just you gotta, okay, what am I doing? What am I here for? You know what I'm saying? So things like that, a lot of people, it's a good and a bad for a lot of people, because a lot of people can't handle that. Just being in that type of lifestyle when you got to be focused is kind of hard. But I mean, the people who do it, good things come out of it all the time. Like I said, it was crazy. Pool parties, everything is all going on at the same hotel you at. There's events going on in the hotel. You trying to sleep, you hearing loud music all through the strip. You trying to sleep, but you really can't, because the city don't die, but you got to force yourself to go to sleep because you got to be up early, or the next day you got to rest all day because you got the late game. It's just, so the way I did, I was really just going to the games a lot. Just every time I was off, if I really didn't have a day off or the next day off after that, I'd go to the games and just spend my free time there.
Yeah, that's smart. That's the way to go. I feel like it's just a way to avoid temptation. And it's crazy too, because there's temptation just in parties. There's temptation, everything's hopping, like the pool parties. But I'm talking and this is going to sound mean, but when I went there, I was like, holy shit, there's girls everywhere, young girls who were just dressed to the nines, in Summer League. There's a basketball game and they're just dressed to the nines. I'm like, damn, like these girls are, we called it like, what was it, DTF? Like they were like everywhere I looked. Like I'm 42, so I'm old. So that was like what we used to call it, like, oh, that girl's DTF. But like everywhere I looked, I was like, holy shit, I can't believe how many people are here and how many people. It was like a club. Like you were just walking through and there's scouts and then there's fans and then there's just like there's thirsty, and it was just crazy like how all this is going. So even staying focused with that, because there's a whole lot else out there in Vegas for you to get distracted with, and you got to focus on basketball. It's wild.
Yeah, it is wild. I mean, I had different things in place for that too, but for sure it was definitely wild. So my first year I wasn't really in a relationship, but I was in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as deep as like it got, but like I still have my girlfriend with me. So I really didn't have to focus with all that. Then my mom came down. So the next year I was in a deep relationship, and I just it was way different. So I really wasn't worried too much about the girls, but if you see them, like they are there. They're everywhere you go. They everywhere, literally. They everywhere. You can't get away from them.
I was thinking, just because when I went out there, I was, a former overseas player, trying to build the brand, trying to connect with agents. I'm down there. I'm talking to people I know who like I coach or played against or played with, and who are now coaches.
Yeah.
But when you have when you're a player and like that's all around you, I mean, it is pretty impressive to really be able to stay focused and dominate summer league with. If maybe that's why they put it in Vegas. Maybe they're like, you know what? Let's throw all these dudes into like the craziest situation possible, like absolute craziness, girls, the strip, like parties, everything, and see just who can succeed. And it's crazy because I'm like a not a big name, but when I walked through there, I was like, I could easily find the party right now. Like I just hear people talking, like, bro, you going here, you going here. I'm like, oh shit, that's where the party. And it's like wild. Everyone would be there. It's just a wild situation. So I think summer league's super cool. But kind of take us through your playing experience as a player in summer league. When you kind of go and you're like, all right, this is the roster, this is what I have to do. What are you thinking? Are you counting the roster spots, or are you like, nah, like just screw it, I'm just gonna go out and ball?
Well, at first I was just like, forget I'm about to just go out here and ball. But when like it's deeper than just that, it's politics involved. So they got their draft, things like that. And of course, sometimes you feel like, okay, yeah, I'm better than the next man, or I can produce more. But you got to know it's a business. Sometimes, even if the player who's in front of you is not playing up to par, you got to really know, like, sometimes it's a business. It was times out there, I was like, my first year, I was feeling discouraged because I'm just like, man, I'm practicing so good. They was telling me so much, like, that I was gonna play, or I was gonna do this guaranteed. Guaranteed playing time, things like that. And then when it came to it, we got out there. It was games I wasn't playing at all. Some things like that. I was like, okay. And then, but at the end of the day, your time gonna come. Everybody who goes out there, you're gonna have an opportunity to show something. So when my name was called, I got to showcase my skills and just have fun with it. But it was definitely like a learning experience, like a growing experience too, because going out there, you just thinking, oh yeah, they picked me up. I'm about to go show everything I can. They finna give me all the playing time. And sometimes it's situational. It doesn't really always go like that,
I thought the coolest thing too was the crowd has definitely grown. I mean, back in the day, summer league was, people were coming, but the crowd definitely grows. And those close games, when that game, it gives those players that a little extra hype, because you're playing in such an intense situation and everything's just going down, and all of a sudden the crowd's standing up and you're like, holy shit, like this is like NBA, like this is what it's all about. And it's just like a cool experience to be able to go through for young players in Vegas.
Yeah.
So when you kind of go, let's go into, you go into summer league, you end up, in training camp, and in that training camp call, I, know this game, that training camp call, you're like the end of the roster, and that's when you're counting. You're like, all right, hold on, there's 16 guys, and let's see if I'm going to make this team. So you have that when you kind of get that call and you're like, all right, and it's like, all right, here's what's happening. We're releasing you, but we're sending you, setting you up with, the G League or Windy City or, all the different places. Was that a disappointment, or it's just like on to the next one?
I mean, of course, like when you got dreams and goals, it's like, when you don't really, at first, when you really don't know the business and things like that, it's definitely a disappointment because you like, man, like, am I not good enough, or like, why am I getting sent down? I just showed so much potential, so much of my skill when I was up there with the up top team. So why am I getting sent down? Sometimes you get discouraged, but as you know in the business, like when you get older in it, like I said, my first year from my fourth year was totally different. My first year, I didn't know what was going on. Like I was playing great in the training camp, things like that. I mean, but the first year was kind of different because I didn't even go to summer league. I just went straight to training camp, and I was killing, getting accolades from all the front office, the coaches, and then when it came down to that last day of training camp, I got sent to the G League, and everybody on the team was just telling me, it happens like this sometimes. You show more than enough. You showed you're an NBA player, but it's the business. This is and that. So I had a hard time, figuring that out. But then now I know for sure because I've been through it. But it was definitely a disappointment at first, just because you start to think now that nobody really believes in your talent. They don't really believe that you're good enough.
When you're in camp, what were the vets like? Do you have any memorable moments with some of those vets when you're trying to make this team and they're pulling you aside, especially when you get that one vet who takes a liking to you? You're like, this he can help me, like he can help this team, and they start taking a liking. Did you have an experience with a vet that really helped you out throughout training camp?
Well, my first year out, our team was a young team. I was with the Bulls. That's when our vets was like Robin Lopez. He wasn't really like, the social guy with everybody else. He was foreign, so But like the older people who've been in the league, it was Zach LaVine, Justin Holiday, Bobby Portis. Those three guys, they they showed me, they helped me. My rookie year, they was always like telling me to keep my head up, just encouraging me, things like that. Like I remember one time, Justin wasn't really a vet at the point in time, but he was older than me. I rode with him. He had me carry his bag to the plane. And at first I'm like, what? But I ain't say it out loud because I wanted to make the teams. I'm like, but he was a cool guy. He always encouraged me, always gave me advice. He always, if I was doing something wrong, he'd pull me to the side instantly, just like a leader. So I really didn't have too much of a problem doing it for him because he always used to help me. Like when things I was lacking in, he always used to come over there and just give me tidbits, things like that. Sometimes they give us they per diem, things like that. I mean, the vets they was young, so I like my rookie year vets.
Yeah, that is funny. The given the per diem. I mean, some of those guys, they don't need that. Like they're just like, let's give it to the young guy. Let's let him go out and have a nice night.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the state of the G League now. I mean, especially last year with the amount of call-ups that occurred and how everything is just growing and it's becoming this real system where guys are able to come back and forth, especially with COVID, with everything going on.
Yeah.
And now they're paying the players more. So when you look at the G League, it's different than how I saw the G League, because I looked at the G League and I was like, we got paid nothing. With you guys, like you're getting paid good money now to kind of make the G League. So is that something when as a player, are you like, well, I don't really need to go overseas because I'm making good money here and I'm right here for the NBA in case they call me up?
Well, yes, yeah. I mean, it's sometimes situational, like the G League is, it's grew tremendously. I mean, they're giving opportunities left and right to different players every day, like it just depends on, you with the conversation with your family, your agent is, and where they feel like the right and the comfortable place is to be. Because think about it, some people it seems like a waste of time in the G League. Some people know, like, okay, it's purpose. That's why I'm here. I'm here for a extended time because I know they already got the up team has interest in me, but like I said, it's really opportunity for real. Like, you know, it's not really because like the development of the G League has really grew a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like the Revs, they grew a lot. You know, just the staying. Like my first year in the G League, we had roommates, things like that. We was traveling on buses, a lot of things like small buses, far ways. Like last year in the G League, they treated us great. They gave us the top stay. We had our own room. And some of that was because of COVID for sure, but most of that was just because everything was growing. It was like 5 years in. So, you know, things was growing rapidly.
That's great. I mean, I played when it was the D League, and it was like one of the OG guys. And what you're saying is so true. The bus rides, I mean, we played in Arkansas, and we took a bus and stopped in Tennessee, and like we were just taking buses like stupid far places, like 12-hour bus rides, and it was just wild to think that like now you guys are flying, everything's just, you know, taken care of, and you're being treated like a professional basketball player. And it was wild because like even overseas we weren't driving, like we were flying everywhere, and then, you know, here in America you're driving these long bus rides. So it's nice to see that the G League has become this place where players feel comfortable, so they don't always lose out to overseas basketball. And you played you made a trip to Israel, went there. Take us through that experience of going your first kind of tour overseas.
It was rocky, but it was great. I mean, it was rocky, but it was a fun experience. You know, I went to Israel. It was one of the more Americanized countries. Like I said, it looked like Miami. It was like a beach was great, food was great. It was kind of different though, because like getting used to the just the culture, like the kosher eating, things like that. Like sometimes you couldn't eat meat with cheese. Like in some places you couldn't eat meat and cheese at the same time. Some places was cool with that. Like their McDonald's was way better than American McDonald's. I don't know why. It tastes real. On the court experience wasn't what I really wanted it to be. Just the coach that I was there with, he got fired. I kind of seemed like he really ain't like me. I don't know why. I really didn't get to show my talents for real, but like overall, I met some great people, networked, and it was a fun experience just going that far and just seeing it for what it was. Like that was my first time really that far from home ever in my life. So yeah, it was. I mean, like, it was a fun experience. Other than that, but like the basketball part of it really didn't pan how I wanted to. Just with a lot of things that was into it. We had too many Americans, too many imports. Like I was the fifth American import, so I was really getting the last hand of the stick. And it was really just a trial, but after the trial, we really didn't want to stay. So
that's the overwhelming when you go to a team, you know, a league like Israel. I know you hear it in Germany as well. When you have the leagues, Spain, when you have all the leagues where there's a ton of import spots, it becomes, people think it's like, oh, there's more jobs, it's more this. But when you go overseas, like you're not expected to sit there and like not play, like not be the star.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's a weird experience to kind of be that like fifth American. You're like, what the hell is this? Like, this is not what I signed up for. And you can almost end up in a dead zone out there where you're not playing as much, and then your stock kind of, you know, falls a little bit, which is rough. And, you know, that's probably a good move to head back and play in the G League. So what is your plan for this upcoming year? What do you have planned?
Well, the G League still has my rights. If we find a better opportunity, like a good overseas opportunity, or even like a training camp, something like that, we're going to push for it. This year, just mostly, you know, about is rebuilding, just, you know, just giving them who I am again, showing them my name again, you know, just coming back on the scene, things like that. Like last year was a good year in the G League. We was top 3 in the whole league. I contributed to my teams winning a lot. So, like I said, we know we up against is this next year is a stamping year, things like that, you know, just stamping year just to get to closer to where I want to be at.
Your mom, Janetta, played pro basketball as well, played in Portugal, had a career there. Is that something that you ever kind of that's in your back of your mind? Like, it would be dope
Not
to
really.
go
I mean,
to go to
not really.
Portugal.
My dreams was NBA. It still is the NBA. So whatever goes and steps I got to take to last and survive in NBA, that's what I'm gonna do. But like I said, if I'm like at the end when I'm time to retire, I might just check it out.
Has she given kind of cool stories about like her experiences that helped you grow as a player growing up?
Yeah, she told me a lot of experiences. A lot of experience. My mom was my first ever coach. First ever anything when it comes to basketball. She gave me the basketball. Like, it was her, because she was like the woman around here. Like in my city or my town, she was the one. So everybody like my mom, she got a lot of rank around here. She went to Wisconsin. She led the nation in block shots, rebounds. She was the MVP at her school. Like, so she always she always stayed in that glory. Let me know every day till I could start beating her. As soon as I started beating her, it was over.
Yeah, I feel like that's similar situation with my dad. Once I started beating my dad, I was like, all right, I think I have something here. Once I started beating my brother, he was 7 feet. He was with the Cavs. Once I started beating him, I was like, all right, hell yeah. We were just different players. Like I was like, but he was just, I'm 6'10". He was 7 foot, but he was always like the big, huge monster 7 foot dude. Like, this is like that Shaq era when you just wanted to be a big fucking lug. And he was like that. He was real physical and stuff. And then I just had to start stepping out, shooting, driving by and stuff. So once I started beating him, that was a wrap. So what are you doing now to kind of brand yourself? We always talk about branding of athletes and how, when you're in the G League and you don't have that, the endorsements and everything else like a Damian Lillard or something like that. How are you still branding yourself to keep your brand going as you continue your career?
Okay. But yeah, so, well, what I'm doing, I'm getting more involved in Instagram, things like that, just posting reels. Like I said, I'm doing Loop Mogul, just getting around the NFT and the metaverse marketplace. A lot of things. I'm just trying to put myself out there more. Like, I never was really the guy to be on like social media or Instagram and things like that. I posted just cause, but like when people started making it a big deal, I really would like kind of straight away from it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm starting to see why everybody is getting so intact with the social media world. So I've been posting reels, just trying to get active on that. Connecting with people in the business world, things like that. Just venturing in different things. I got a camera now, so I'm just trying to do different lot of things. Just yeah.
I like the so the Loop Mogul stuff is some fun thing, and we've talked a little bit. We're sponsored by Loop Mogul, so we've talked about Loop Mogul a lot, like the metaverse and stuff, and how it's funny because I try to explain it to people, and I'm trying to use like the baseball card analogy, and even like money. People don't understand like the metaverse, and it's just one of those things I'm trying to explain it to people. Like, what is money? Like, it's fucking paper, and you're sitting and you use it as like this. It's this thing, this end all beat all. You have this piece of paper, and that's worth so much. It's like everything is the same. So when you have an NFT or you have a digital, platform, or you have, coins and things like that, it's very similar to what we're using. It's all digitalized. And I was trying to explain it. So when you use Loop Mogul, what exactly are you doing as an ambassador for Loop Mogul?
Well, I'm really just bringing people on and just introducing people to the metaverse. Like we just launched the metaverse arena. So we getting everybody involved into that. I'm just bringing like people like who inner city people who really don't know nothing about that, just getting them caught up just because the world is changing now. So, just getting everybody caught up. I'm trying to, give a lot of friends and family from my hometown a lot of opportunity to join through the metaverse, through the arena with these seats. Just like really just things like that. Posting on my Instagram, just my NFTs are coming soon, things like that. So just getting everybody ready for what's about to happen, what's about to pop.
What advice do you have to those young athletes who want to kind of start something like or start their way into this digital presence? Like, what advice do you have for those guys who want to get their digital presence going at an early age?
Really, I say go for it, because like I said, it's kinks and fall jumps and falls and everything. But right now, it seemed like to be one of the most, invested in areas. Like right now, like the metaverse is growing rapidly. So I feel like as an athlete, you have the opportunity to get in there earlier with low cost. I feel like you should do it and jump on it fast, because by the time it's too late, it's gonna be way too high, and everybody's gonna want to do it then. Well, we have a jump and a head start. I feel like we all should get to it right now.
I agree.
Blow up.
No, I totally agree. I mean, it's like investing. Like when you're able to invest in something at a young age that could be like the next big thing. I mean, look at the people who invest in like IBM and Apple. They're never working a day again in their life. That's always a good thing.
Seriously.
Well, Jaylen, it's been a real pleasure talking to you, connecting with you, having you tell your story. The summer league stuff's great, and we're looking forward to what you're doing in the metaverse. We're looking forward to what you're doing on the court, and we're excited to see this upcoming year and where your career continues to take you. And we wish you the best of luck.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for bringing me on the podcast. Hey, anytime.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jaylen.
Thank you.
Jaylen Johnson, Overseas Famous Podcast. See you guys next week.